Welcome back, MTG Joe here. We have another deck to try out for best of 3, trying to find a deck I want to play outside of Doom Foretold for the Mythic Points Championship, or Qualifier, whatever they call it, at the end of the month for finishing last month top 1200. So this one is a deck list. I had a screenshot on my phone from like 2 weeks ago. This was a 5-0 list, so I don't have the person who unfortunately did it on MTGO. So if I do find it, I will give credit where credit's due. But this is basically a Sultai blue, black, green Uro Titan of Nature's Wrath deck. So it's like a Sultai mid-range deck, kind of ramp focused, but without Nisa. The one change I did make in the main board was I dropped Garrick and I put Liliana Dreadhorde General. Liliana is a cleaner answer main board to Dream Trawler because you can force the sacrifice. Otherwise, we don't really have a way to interact with it. So basically what we're trying to do with this deck is generate a lot of mana and then use Casualties of War to blow up multiple permanents from the opponent's side, and then refill our hand with stuff like Hydroid Krasis, Uro, or like our Planeswalker's abilities. So kind of breaking it down in terms of like the types of cards, you have Ramp in the term of Paradise Druid, Growth Spiral, and to some extent Uro. You have Disruption in the form of Thought Erasure to attack their hand, Tyrant, Scorn to either deal with small creatures, but it's also a way to recycle like your Hydroid Krasis or your Uro if they're going to attack it. And then you have Casualties of War, which blows up everything. And then you have your Planeswalkers. So it's a mix of, you can pretty much draw your deck with this, so that's why Jace, I'm imagining, is in here. So we'll see how useful Jace is overall. Tamiyo can always get back your Jace if you self-mill it or anything like that. Tamiyo also helps us dig for answers and recycle certain like removal spells. A couple of Vraskas deals with like all the 3-mana planeswalkers, everything like that, as well as lets us sacrifice excess lands late in the game to draw cards. A couple of Ashiok, which has just been a really impressive planeswalker if you can build around like a mid-rangey control deck. And the Liliana, as I mentioned. Mana base is pretty simple. We're playing some more Fabled Passages than we normally would play because it fuels the escape on Uro. So some things I want to see if we want a Polukranos in here. That might be something we try out later. It works well with like the extra mana. And then I added in a castle as well, taking down from 4 to 3 Fabled Passage. Sideboard wise, Aether Gust versus red-green matchup. Agonizing Remorse when we need to play against control, attack their hand a bit more. Epic Downfall versus the big stuff, and it also exiles. Another Tyrant, Scorn versus aggro. 4 Mystical Disputes versus the control matchup, and 3 Rituals versus the aggro matchups. So pretty much just playing around with stuff like blue and black. So it's kind of like a control deck with splashing green. Well, more than a splash of green, just for like ramp and removal. So we'll try it out. Still sitting at plat 3. Played a bit, ran about 500 with the Doom Foretold list offline yesterday. But we'll fire it up and see how it goes. So those of you tuning in for the first time, or if you're catching this on YouTube, thanks for stopping by. All the content that I do on Twitch live is all flipped back onto my YouTube channel afterwards, so you can catch everything we play there. If you do enjoy the content, if you can drop a like, comment, anything like that, or if you subscribe on YouTube, all are free and easy ways to help out the channel. And if you want to know when we go live and just catch us on Twitch, you can always do so by dropping a follow on Twitch. So this hand against aggro, it's fine. Of course, we queue into blue-white. So we're just going to try to play out into the Jace here. Main board, this is... Oh, Bant. Might be Bant Ramp. I think we just want to get rid of, or like thin out our deck a bit here. Not too concerned about Teferi, really. More concerned of like Nisa. And with Jace you mill yourself, so that way you can hit your own arrows. I need to hit a blue source here, unfortunately. Just how our mana is shaping out so I can Jace. Ooh. So I can go Vraska here. And then down tick. Get rid of Teferi, but I think we just Jace and start getting some card advantage. Jace survives a Nissa this turn. Ooh, and we draw into casualties. So we are short another black source. So maybe our sequencing with the Fabled Passage was wrong there. This looks cool with the stained glass art. So let's self-mill again. So I Tamiyo here. So this only does non-land permanents. So Jace is dead regardless. I can Vraska. I think we just Vraska, down tick on Teferi here. Hope we draw another black source. If we draw a black source, then we're in a pretty good spot because we can destroy basically one of their lands that's a creature. This might be a Hydroid Krasis. So they Krasis here. So that's a clean answer. I'm just gonna Tamiyo and get the swamp back to guarantee the land drop. We could set him back quite a bit. And then even after we blow up everything, we still have... Okay, so they just conquers death here. It's actually fine because it gives us another target, thankfully. I severely underrated this card when it was spoiled. It's been so good. So, Planeswalker, land, enchantment, creature. You. We are at 9 life, so we do need to be a bit mindful there. So maybe Thought Erasure. So they got another Elspeths and some Shatter the Skies. So here, if they want to trade, I'll trade off. Yeah, Quantum, it's been really good. Liliana's great here. So they're playing like Band Control. So how much mana do I have? I have enough for both. Just get rid of the other Teferi. Don't think we want Paradise Druid at this point. Yeah, Casualties is nuts, especially when you get it out early. Now we're in a pretty good spot. They can obviously shatter here. So we'll see if they throw away the shatter. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8. So X6. I know they have another shatter, so I don't want to overcommit here, or like play out more. I'm guessing we're getting shattered again. Okay, they opt. Keep on top. That gets rid of Liliana. So we'll take the Teferi down. They're going to be able to get back like a Nisa. But I'll probably wait a turn. Force it out of them. They're going to casualties anyways, so let's just do this now. We can scry. So this is actually not bad, but with thing out, casualties make, or thing makes it cost 2 more. They go shatter here. Actually, it's pretty good because I can Thought Erasure them. Okay, so it's just a land there. I was gonna say I was gonna bounce this back, but they just exile it afterwards. That's fine. They can get Nisa back. It's probably the best thing they got. And then I'll just Casualties of War it again. Especially if they do all this setup to get Ura, we'll just blow it up. Go Tamiyo here. That's actually good. It's fine. We can casual 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm just gonna block here because I'm gonna blow this up. Planeswalker, land, enchantment, creature. So creature, enchantment, let's take them off Breeding Pool, and let's take them off Nisa. Exiling another Uro is nice. And then just make another Ashiok here. 27, 25. We're still at the state of the game that if either of us draw a Hydroid Krasis, we can probably pull ahead. We also haven't hit any of our 4 Uros yet, which is kind of wild. So I think I just want to tempo them, get cards out of their hand, and then I can attack their library indirectly as well. Whoa, we were actually identical on clock for a second there. What did they get rid of? Brazen Borrower. Good to know. Getting rid of another Conqueror's Death is nice. If they draw Nisa, we have a blocker to protect our Ashiok. Hydroid Krasis, Uro, like literally, how many Krasis we have? 2 used so far. We've used 2 casualties. Finally. So I can actually casualties them as well. But I think we wait. So just get rid of Growth Spiral, Paradise Druid, this. Probably just another Druid. Doesn't matter. Just keep the creatures. Make it seem like we have reanimation. Okay, I drew second Uro. So because I'm not going to casualties this turn, I'm going to Uro again, just for the card draw. We're going to keep the one that didn't get escaped this turn. Sweet. And we got Hydroid Krasis for the next turn. Hydroid Krasis over the top should be able to close it out. We're at 19 cards. We're at 17. One thing we might want to see, there's no Murderous Rider. That's interesting. So we'll trade here. It's probably another Uro. Looks like they're going to be 1 mana short to Uro and Brazen Borrower. 1, 2, 3, 4. So effectively that's for Uro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ah, so they have the Nisa. So this is probably Casualties' turn. Let's do this first. See if we bait anything out. Rider with mono red's a bit tricky. because like it's removal, but it hurts you, and then they just go over the top. So let's take them off as much blue as possible, probably. Make it harder for them to cast their Uro each time. So the question here, I can bounce that, but I think we just go Ashiok up. Play this out as an additional blocker. They can attack Ashiok, but they're not going to kill it this turn. 15 cards, 17 cards. We're about even on clock. So it's kind of the like Nisa's lands being caught up with all these sweepers that are in the format right now are pretty bad. Like the opponent's playing Shatter the Skies with Nisa, which just ends up making your lands pretty vulnerable. That's actually sweet. So I can do this to take this down, or I can do this to get Uro out of the way. I think we do this to get Uro out of the way.
I'm good at what I do, and what I do is
Opponent is getting precarious as well with the amount of cards in their library. So we're probably gonna have to win through mill. Ooh, and we got rid of a Shatter. We're at 15, they're at 11. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just do X6. Draw 3 cards. And Casualties should help us close it out. Big enough that it can block Brazen. Yeah, Uro is 3 CMC. Its escape is an alternative casting cost. So Aether Gust, Mystical Disputes, Agonizing Remorse. Man, like my entire sideboard's good here. So Aether Gust probably is not the best, because like Teferi gets kind of crapped out with it. Like if we can exile their Uros, it's probably good. Actually, even getting rid of Rituals is probably sweet. So let's get rid of Paradise Druid. Let's play the Rituals. Jace is a way we could win through. Tyrant Scorn could come out. Tamiyo could come out. Actually, Liliana could come out. Let's play Tamiyo. This matchup's weird. I got 5 cuts. Like I want all my casualties and everything. I'm cutting this because it's really just us getting. Okay, maybe Jace come out. Then Tamiyo and a Mystical Dispute. Run it like that. Because if they have Teferi out, our counters aren't that good. And because they're big mana, and they'll likely be ahead on mana. So maybe playing the Mystical Disputes weren't the best, and we should have just played like sweepers. I'm going to keep this actually. because I can catch their Teferi. Hey, Farm to Fame. If you're on the computer, there's a widget right here. If you're on mobile, let me know and I'll drop you the deck link in the chat. Okay, so we want some sort of ramp spell. Ooh. Problem is, like, we're way away from this. It's just too good not to have it. Give me a sec, I'll grab you the deck link. So that's actually pretty good because we could Thought Erasure and hold up Mystical Dispute here. That's fine. I don't think fighting... Oh, they just concede. Sweet. Take the win. I have not played an Enigma deck, and I think that's probably what we end up playing next on stream. I gotta find a good list. If you have one, that'd be great if you can share. I'm just going to give Arena a quick reset and then we'll fire up another match. I've seen, like, I know Saffron Olive played one. There was the one early in the year that what's the guy who always wins World? The Brazilian guy. He had one. I actually played it against him in the early streamer event. Not Paulo Vitor del Moroso. It's around Enigmatic, the enchantment. It's a 4-mana, you sack an enchantment, go look through your deck for a creature with CMC 1 higher than that. So it's kind of like Birthing Pod, but for you sack an enchantment for a creature. Huey. Huey Jensen. I played against him. He had a Bant version originally. I played against him in the early streamer event. Sounds sweet. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up. I gotta find a good version that I like. I'm actually probably okay with the Growth Spiral right now. If our opponent is on basic Mountain, we're in a bit of trouble. I think we just go on Growth Spiral here. Main board, we might have trouble in this matchup, but post board I feel like we probably get a lot better. So the reason I didn't go Paradise Druid here is because I want to be able to play 2 spells next turn and I wasn't going to block. So next turn I can play out the Paradise Druid, use it to block this Robber of Riches, and then hopefully Casualties of War. And the nice thing is because this is hexproof, it can't get hit. It's pretty aggressive on their part. Annex makes this matchup a bit harder as well. So I can take a turn, but we probably get smacked for a bunch. Land, enchantment, creature. So target a creature, target an enchantment, and target a land. Actually, that's pretty sweet. I forgot it's an enchantment creature. So we clear out their board pretty well. Like, they're going to get these 1/1s. But if we can draw like a Hydroid Krasis, might be able to recover. Embercleave. Infuriate. Nope. So let's just see what's in their hand. Okay, so it's pretty stock. So in this matchup, the Aether Gusts are good, the Rituals are good, another Tyrant Scorn. Probably the Epic Downfalls, get rid of the Thought Erasures. Get rid of 2 Casualties, get rid of the Jace, get rid of the Tamiyo. Probably run it like that. I don't want the Remorse, I don't want the discard. Keep a couple Casualties in there just to get like Embercleave and stuff, but that was a game where we just ended up getting stuck with all the big mana. And we did like turn 4 Casualties then, but they're pretty aggressive. We'll keep this. Gonna get an island here. So I think we just go Paradise Druid here because that means next turn I can block one thing and then tap it and then play 2 spells. Double Fervent Knights, pretty shitty because these get up to 4 power. So I need that to come in. I need a Ritual of Soot. So that's a tempo play for us. Kill one of these. Oh shit, I was supposed to block first. Crap. So I'm gonna have to take this damage again. It's probably Annex. Robber. Oh, of course, they get my Uro. I need to play into Ritual of Soot. The Embrenth is also pretty bad. In case we draw Uro, I can play that. Probably just get a Swamp. Actually, could probably use another green source. So we're taking at least 2 next turn. Hey Zard, we took down a Bant control deck, but we're getting bullied by mono red right now. What's letting them get this back? Is this a rogue? Oh, Tin Street is a rogue. Yeah, we're a little too late here. because they just end breath and we're dead. Okay, so mono red seems to be a problem for this deck, but we also both games never drew an Uro or drew Hydroid Krasis. It should normalize out, but that first game they just punked us. Having a bunch of 6 mana spells in your deck isn't the best. We're really looking to play like the blue-white control decks, stuff like that. May want to go, not even like Ritual. If we would have had that, it would have made a big difference. I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna get a swamp with this, so that way, depending. Hey, Literal God, how's it going? So let's just get a swamp here. Opponent looks to be on blue-white control, so let's go Paradise Druid. So this is the turn where do we Thought or I think we just Uro here. I've always just been on my own channel. I do a lot of YouTube stuff. Everything I play goes back on YouTube, so you might have seen it there. Actually, you know what? I should have shocked there. That was dumb. Okay, so they have Malady's. So I didn't attack there in case they had Teferi. Can just start Ashioking. But I think there's still a turn off anyways from what's its name? Elspeth Conquers Death. Okay, they just shatter here, that's fine. Oof. This is a hand. So let's get rid of the Dream Trawler. I actually like that on top because it gives me another way to eat at their hand. Of course, they top deck into it. Deck's right over here. So we got rid of a Teferi. So I want to make sure I can hit this Casualties of War for next turn. So I'm going to get rid of the Shatter here. Okay, cool. Because the thing is, they're likely to... oh, shit. I should have done... crap. Talking. They go Gatwick. Because this makes casualties more expensive this turn. And now they're going to get their Dream Trawler back. So yeah, we were behind anyways. So now we're trying to race a Dream Trawler, which is going to be a problem, especially because it comes in as a 4/6. Probably have counter magic up. Okay, so we have an Ashiok. I punted this game. And they have Absorb. So I can still play into Liliana. out to Fairy. Hey Mango Gamer, you can find the deck over here. Also, if you're looking on the computer as opposed to mobile, I do have the widget on the right hand side, and you can catch it there. Hey, thanks for stopping by. I lost this. Okay. That was bad. I was talking and I screwed up some sequencing. Okay, so post board, let's bring in the Remorse. Let's bring in the Mystical Disputes. Let's get rid of the Tyrant Scorn. The Jace is fine. Just get rid of the Paradise Druids. Maybe keep the Paradise. Nah, I'm not going to be playing those on 2. I'm going to be looking to try to do a discard on 2. Tamiyo's fine, Ashiok's fine, Casualties. Just get rid of Jace. But like Tamiyo does a better job with digging, and I don't think we're winning through a Jace. That one was... Because I couldn't have done it different, even if I shocked in that growth spiral, because they make with Elspeth Conquers Death. It really came down to the fact that they top decked like a perfect timed Conquers Death there. So I'm going to growth spiral here. They're also missing blue mana, it looks like. So we probably want to name Hydroid Krasis. Both my disputes. So the reason I did this was if they play out to Fairy, then I could down tick on it, so I get value off that. If they're just Birth of Malady seeing, I don't care. Okay, so we drew a Casualties. Let's see if we can draw an Uro. So they have Brazen Borrower. Which I'm not as worried about. I think Conquer's Death's more of a value play for them. Casualties isn't really good on this board right now, though. What am I doing? Blowing up a Malady's wall in a land? I'd rather hit it with the Planeswalker. So they probably have a counter here. So let's go... But even with the counter, so let's do... Let's get back Agonizing Remorse, because if this is a thing, we can exile it. They just bounce us back to hand. Okay, so they're just like on mono lands at this point. So I think now we draw Casualties. I'm glad these mystical disputes are all going in the bin. Okay, so they waste the Conqueror's Death on that. They don't really have anything to bring back, so I think we start doing this now. It could start exiling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Another lion draws us an extra card off Hydroid Krasis. So I'm activating that before we attack, because if they have another Brazen, yeah, they could have bounced that. That's fine, flash you in. So you are for 6. Not bad, as long as we could chain Krasis together. And this gives us a blocker as well. If they wipe the board, we still get... Okay, so they get to Fairy Bounce. That's an interesting play. What do they have in exile? So just in case, because I might want to attack. Are you playing Nisa in yours, Conk? This gives them the optionality to... I think we just get rid of this. I just don't want to get instant speed. I think I tried Golgari, a couple different versions of like the deck. I'll keep an arrow on top. Yeah, that's what I found. You can grind them out, but eventually without blue, you end up losing. Hey Lawsome, how's it going? So they take down Vraska, that's fine. Yeah, it depends on how you build it. If you're building like the Golgari or the Rotting Regisar like Great Henge version, then it's a lot better. Okay, so what can I cast out of their graveyard? Nothing really worthwhile. So let's get some exiles going. Yeah, Polukranos Henge is pretty sweet. Let's do an Uro and then I can casualties. I was actually thinking of Polukranos for this deck. So land, creature, artifact, you, and I don't think the chump block makes as much difference as them being able to scry. So I opted to not go with Garrick. Instead, I went with Liliana, because Liliana's down tick can let you deal with Dream Trawler. Okay, so they had the Absorb there. How's command though with all the mono red running around? Because like we just got trucked by mono red. So we're gonna just decline here. I don't know why they paid that. And I'm just gonna cast this. It plays better for a board wipe. And then I can always draw a card if need be. Yeah, I guess with Teferi Narset, it wouldn't be too bad. I don't know if we have any basics left. We do. Sweet. So this game's going a lot better. This is a grindy deck for sure. Okay, so the top, so that's probably a board wipe somewhere. Conquers Death. What do you target? Ashiok? What's in your grave? Teferi or Brazen Borrower? That's actually sweet. Because now we do this. Land. Enchantment. Creature. Artifact. You. And get rid of your scry. Yeah, I guess, like, you can build it. I have the 3 rituals in the side in my deck. Gadwick's gone, another Narset, and another Gadwick. Keep that on top. So I can chump block our Uro for days. Gonna end the turn. Okay, took him out. Yeah, I might need to switch it to a cry. Because like we have the 3 rituals, but they might be a little too slow. I think we run it back. It's just the Conquer's Death that seems pretty rough. If we can avoid Conquer's Death, then we're usually pretty okay. And then if it turns like we've seen pretty good against pretty much all the mid-range decks, even control. It's the mono red match that we felt really underwhelmed, so it might just be a matter of tweaking the sideboard. Yeah, and the thing is, Casualties hits them on so many axes. Like, they rely a lot of times on the Conquer's Death to recycle value. Like, especially in like my Doom Foretold list, like that's pretty much how you get it. And then you're already ahead on lands because you ramp, and then you get to take out their lands. And there's usually utility lands there. Come on, opponent. We have 2 turns to draw a land. I think we mulligan this. Okay, sounds much better. So I'm going to lead on the scry. Yeah, Leyline's actually something interesting as well. So I think I want to get rid of a Teferi here, but I can always just Mystical Dispute it, so that's fine. This way I can Growth Spiral. See if they try to jam something. I'd rather you not have that. How about that? So I can Agonizing Remorse. And then we're just dealing a ton of damage to ourselves. Narset probably hurts us more in the immediate. Because at least that lets us hold up a counter spell. Like, we're not going to get to draw off Uro, that's the only downside. So maybe taking Narset was the right play. So I can Conquer's Death. I just gain 3 life like this. Yeah, you know what? That was a mistake. I should have taken... Should have just held up Dispute there. Not really, to be honest, the event. The prizes are really garbage. And, like, usually you get to play against, like, some interesting archetypes or stuff. But this one's just... win card styles for cards you'll never play. Usually I play those off stream. Okay, they Brazen Borrower here. So I think I am going to force the Dispute here because it gets both sides of Brazen and it gets this off the battlefield. Yeah, usually when I stream those events, they don't get really the most views. I'm trying. I qualified for the Mythic Points challenge at the end of the month, so I want to play through that, or play through some decks, see what I like. Okay, so this is a great Casualties turn. Planeswalker, land, enchantment, artifact. And I'm going to take them off their second blue. And then we have Thought Erasure for the next turn. And we also have enough to get Uro back. If they're willing to do that, I think we decline. Yeah, the Niv's deck's going to be silly anyways, like Niv Fires. So this kind of forces them to tap out. So let's go this, 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 this. In case we draw Tamiyo, we want the Casualties. This also draws us a card. So then I get to untap with Ashiok. Oh, if we had one more mana, just disputing their shadow. Or actually wouldn't because it's white. Cool. Get to draw a card there. Arena's starting to lag a bit. I don't think that's Mystical Dispute worthy. I want to hit like a Conquer's Death or something like that that would target us. Basically at this point it's stopping them from interacting with us. Yeah, I love Ashiok. I play her in like Esper Doom Foretold. She's my main win con, other than like the Doom Foretolds themselves. Oh shit. Okay, well we were gonna take Gadwick anyways, but that was a weird quick click. So it's probably just them gonna board wipe this turn. It's in their exile, just 2 Teferis. I have enough to Uro back one Uro. If they didn't have the second board wipe, I'd consider it. Yeah, even Ashiok and Kaya, the 3-mana one, works out pretty well together. So I'm going to wait this turn, because then I can Hydroid Krasis next turn. And then we can hold up Mystical Dispute and fill our hand again. Sweet. Or, you know, we'll just do this. This deck's sweet because you just force your opponent on so many different axes. Like even Dream Trawler doesn't really help him here. No. How about not? Because the thing is, if Teferi resolves, okay, dispute my dispute. They got a Teferi down. So we take one of these out. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's do X6. That way if we get a discard spell, we can cast it. And that's pretty much... Actually, we should have done the 2 more. He only had 2 Teferis and like some lands. There wasn't anything good. That's why we didn't pop it off. Alright, so 2-1 with the deck. Took down some of the bigger decks. Mono red was still an issue. But I think you can tweak the deck a bit. I really like the post-game board, just going into like hard Sultai control with all the discard spells. Because you end up just grinding them out and then getting value between your multiple Uros and the Hydroid Krasis. So I'm probably going to play this one a bit more offline. I'll see how it fares, and if I make any tweaks, I'll update the list. I think I might cut the Jace and play either another Tamiyo or maybe another Tyrant Scorn. Yeah, best of one, I wouldn't play mid-range. You play control or aggro. You need to be able to answer both decks, and this doesn't really have the tools like main board to deal with both. I don't know if Jace is needed. Maybe the Command the Dreadhorde, like you mentioned, Conk. Or even a Garruk. But I feel like we're too top-heavy then with Garruk. Maybe even just another Vraska. Felt pretty good, but you can play around with it, see what works there. Yeah, the original list I saw, like from a Twitter dump, had Jace in it. But I wanted to see how it worked if we ran the risk of drawing out. But I feel like we can usually get them to scoop before then. Maybe a Fae of Wishes. No, but Fae we wouldn't really cycle. Play Jace in the sideboard for the grindier matchups. And then just play... Maybe Brazen Borrower might be better in here. Just another way to bounce. Or actually, yeah, no, Polukranos. Polukranos would be the change. How the hell do you spell this? Why can't I spell Polukranos? Where'd you go? Do I just not own one? Do I not own a Polukranos? Well, would you know? I don't own a Polukranos. Alright, cool. So I'm going to wrap this one up. I'll throw this up on YouTube if you missed any part of it. If you wanted to catch any of the other videos that I have, they're all up on the channel on YouTube. If there's anything you'd like to see for the next video, do drop me a recommendation anywhere on my YouTube and we'll fire it up. Probably want to play around like a green-white tokens list with like Divine Visitation. So I'll probably brew something up like that. Haven't played green-white in quite some time. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe Bant tokens even. Ramp up, play March of the Multitudes in there. But we'll play it out, see how it goes. Anyways, thanks for stopping by. Have a great one, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.